Hi, I'm Movie Man. I'm an octopus who reviews movies, and today's review is going to be on. Now, this was a film which, I kind of always had, kind of some mixed opinions on it going in. I do think that first Joker movie from 2019 is genuinely a great film. Um, but to be honest, I don't think that movie ever needed a sequel. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I felt like the way that movie ended and stuff, it really did just feel, like a one and done film. It just didn't feel like, there was any need for, a follow up to that story. But, of course, sure, that first Joker movie made over $1 billion at the box office, and to this very day is still the most recent DC movie to gross over $1 billion. Um, but yeah, with the film being a huge box office success, obviously Warner Bros. Wanted to do another one, and so now 5 years later, I know it's been 5 years, can you believe it? We now have the sequel, Joker Folie Deux. As I said, my expectations going into this one were never that high, honestly, because I just felt like that first Joker never really needed a sequel. But I'll be honest, from the trailers, this movie actually looked interesting enough. Yeah, it looked like potentially a solid movie in its own right. So, you know, I thought to myself, hey, what, sure, I'll go see it when it comes out and I'll give it a chance. It could actually be a worthwhile film. Now, I know last month the film premiered at the Venice Film Festival, and it got a bit of a polarizing response, alright, but nonetheless, I was still interested to see it for myself, see what I thought of it. But anyway, so the movie has come out this weekend, and I went to go see it there for myself yesterday. As of me recording this video, I'm recording this on October 6th, the day of my 3-year anniversary. Go watch the Q&A if you haven't. But yeah, anyways, having seen the film for myself now, what did I think of it? Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. This was not great. Yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't a huge fan of this one. Yeah, unfortunately, this movie did not seem to justify its existence after all, sadly. But anyway, getting further into my thoughts on the movie, I'll start off by saying this. The cinematography is very good. I mean, that's not really a huge surprise, to be fair. I mean, that was one thing that I loved about the first Joker, was that, it has genuinely great cinematography. And yeah, with this follow up, that is once again the case. Yeah, I will admit this movie is well shot. Like, I do think there are honestly some really good shots in the movie, and there is some genuinely really nice lighting. I think in particular some scenes that are kind of set like during times where there's rain and stuff. Yeah, I honestly think those scenes in particular are very well shot. Um, yeah, so overall, I think the cinematography is very good in this movie. Now, in terms of the film's editing, I think overall this is a well enough edited movie. I mean, honestly, it is, well edited and stuff. Obviously, throughout the movie, we're kind of going through how we're seeing all these kind of different song numbers and stuff. And honestly, as well as being well shot, I'll say this: they are well edited. I think overall, this is a decently edited movie. Now, I wouldn't call the editing in this absolutely amazing or anything, but overall, I think it is a well enough edited movie. In terms of the pace in this film, now, this movie has a runtime of 2 hours and 19 minutes, so this movie is about nearly 20 minutes longer than the first film, because the first movie was just I think just 2 hours and 1 minute. Well, this movie is nearly 20 minutes longer than that. I have to be honest though, I don't think the pace here was all that great. I mean, I'm sorry, but I just felt this movie dragged a bit, honestly. This felt like kind of a long enough film, which, I'm not surprised it, felt as long as it did, but I'm sorry, I just felt this movie drags a bit too much, honestly, throughout the whole story and stuff. Yeah, it just felt like it dragged for too long. But I think especially what made it drag out, was some of the music numbers, because, I'm sorry, but whenever these scenes come into the film, they just feel filler and stuff. They don't further the trajectory of the story all that much. They're kind of just in the film, I guess for a bit of style or something, but they just make the film go on for longer than it needs to, and yeah, I just felt, they were quite unnecessary. And yeah, I think these scenes are kind of the main reason for why this movie feels as long as it does. Yeah, I'll be honest, I really just did not like those music number scenes at all. Yeah, so overall, I just thought like the pace here was just not great. Like, especially with all of the music numbers, they just made the movie drag on for too long. Yeah, so I thought the pacing here was just not great. In terms of the sound and music, now let me just make something clear. This isn't the only recent movie to do this. Let me make something clear. This movie is a musical. Like, there are song numbers in this film. Yeah, this movie is a musical. Um, like, for some reason, like, I guess studios just seem to think that, like, people won't want to go and watch a movie if it's a musical. Because I noticed a lot of films in recent times have done that, like, Wonka, for example, was a musical, and the trailers didn't make it look like one. Mean Girls, the 2024 one, also a musical, despite how the trailers made it look. And, well, just like both of those movies, this film is the same. Despite the trailers denying it, let me make it clear, this movie is a musical. Um, in terms of the actual songs in this movie, I think they themselves are okay. Like, there's not really any songs that I know I really loved or I thought were particularly, very memorable, but the songs were okay, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys, like, songs are okay, but I think my main problem with them is that they just feel like filler. Like, as I said, they don't further the trajectory of the story. Like, they're literally just in here for, like, kind of a fancy gimmick and stuff. And obviously, I know we have Lady Gaga in this movie as Harley Quinn. And, obviously, Lady Gaga is a singer in real life. But yeah, like, I mean, we do have songs in this from her and Phoenix. Overall, I think they're okay, as I said. Like, Phoenix and Gaga both do well, singing them and stuff, but, like, I just feel like the songs are filler in this movie. Like, they're literally just in here for, like, extra scenes and stuff. As I said, they literally just don't further the trajectory of the story. They're just kind of here for filler and stuff, yeah. The film had a decent score. Like, I did genuinely really like the score in the first movie. I think the score in this film, not quite as good as the first movie, but still overall an okay score. But the musical numbers, as I said, on their own, they're okay, but, like, as I said, they're just in the movie for filler, and they do not further the trajectory of the story. Not to mention, I think most of them don't even have a proper, conclusion. The music here was quite a mixed bag, honestly. Now, in terms of the characters and the performances from the cast, obviously, we once again have Arthur Fleck, otherwise known as the Joker. This movie, there's kind of this whole like plot with like him and his like shadow. Like I mean, Arthur kind of has a bit of a split personality with him being Arthur and being the Joker. Now it was an interesting idea, but honestly, I just feel like the movie could have executed it better. Like, I mean, Arthur as a character in this one, I feel like he wasn't as interesting as he was in that first movie. Now, like, I mean, Joaquin Phoenix still gave a very good performance as the character, but I don't know, it just felt like the character himself was kind of a downgrade from how he was in the first movie.
In my life, I didn't feel so alone anymore.
And we have Harley Quinn, or Harley and Leigh Quinzel. Honestly, her character was just kind of wasted potential. Like I mean, they had interesting ideas for her character, but no, I just feel like they could have executed her character a lot better. Like, I mean, I'll admit Lady Gaga is very good here. She does do a very good job in this role, but like, I just felt they could have made her character more interesting, and like, I don't know, like, her chemistry with Joaquin Phoenix, I just didn't quite feel it, honestly. So yeah, they just could have done Harley and Quinzel a lot better, honestly. In terms of the supporting cast, we have like a bunch of other supporting characters in this. We have one or two characters from the first movie that's returned, but we also have kind of a bunch of new characters and stuff. It was kind of nice getting to see some of the characters from the first movie again, but like, I feel like they could have done more interesting. Like, their scenes were okay. Like, I don't know, I just feel like how the movie kind of continues on with like how it goes on about the events of the previous movie. They just could have done that a lot better. And like, I wasn't really the biggest fan of like some of the new characters. I don't know, the new characters just didn't really leave much of an impression. Like, I think the acting all around was decent.
How about you, Arthur? Do you still think you're a star?
I think Brendan Gleeson, he has a role in this as Garrett as Arkham. Like, he really tried here, to be fair. Like, he was a memorable enough character. But I don't know, I just felt like they could have made like the supporting cast a bit more interesting, honestly. So yeah, overall, the characters could have been better. I mean, overall, I think the acting was good enough here, especially from Phoenix and Gaga, but like, they really could have done more with the characters, especially with Harley and Quinzel. So overall, solid enough acting, but the characters were kind of a disappointment. In terms of the plot of the movie now, as I've said, I never really felt like that first Joker movie ever really needed a sequel. And like, the whole kind of plot with this one, like how like Arthur is now in like Arkham prison, and he's going on trial for the murders he committed in the first movie, and being kind of a courtroom drama, but then you have he gets into the romance with Harleen Quinzel. It could have been an interesting idea, but I was not a fan of the execution. As I said, the whole kind of story arc with him and Harleen Quinzel, it just felt like a bit underutilized, and it just wasn't as interesting as it could have been. And as well as that, all the stuff with him being in prison, and him going on trial and stuff, honestly, it again could have been an interesting idea, but it just wasn't well executed, honestly. I don't know, I just felt like it wasn't really all that interesting. We're kind of just, repeating some of the information from the first movie, but we're not giving, any, new, fresh takes on anything. We're not getting anything from, anyone else's point of view that's, really interesting, or not getting it from, any new perspective and stuff. Yeah, it just kind of makes for, honestly, just kind of a poor sequel, and as I said, the music numbers, they just don't further the trajectory of the story at all. It was just a disappointing story. It all just felt so pointless and stuff, and I won't spoil the ending, but the ending of the movie was just so poor. I actually was genuinely pissed with how the movie ended. Yeah, so overall, the plot of the movie was not great. It had some interesting ideas, but I just executed them poorly, to where overall the movie just felt like a pointless sequel to its predecessor. So yeah, the plot was just not great at all. In terms of the narrative structure now, the plot with this one, with Arthur going on trial, again, interesting idea, but as I said, it is nice seeing some of the characters from the previous movie, but we're not being given any new perspectives and stuff. It's just kind of relaying information from the first movie, and it's just not as well executed as it could have been. And the romantic plot with him and Harleen Quinzel, again, just not as interesting as it could have been, because I just didn't feel the chemistry. It was mainly just comprised of a bunch of music numbers and stuff, which didn't really further the trajectory of the story at all. And even some of the scenes at Arkham Prison, just, well, okay. Again, it was nothing that really, made the film justify its existence. Overall, the way everything kind of fits in together, it just doesn't feel very organic, and honestly, it's just kind of a hollow film that doesn't have anything new to offer, and ultimately it's just a pointless sequel. And the way everything kind of wraps up and stuff, during the climax, it's just not satisfying at all. And as I said, the ending especially just made the whole thing pointless, honestly. Yeah, overall, the narrative structure in the film was just not great. So overall, Joker Folie Deux is without a doubt one of the biggest disappointments of the year. There is stuff to like in the movie, like there's good cinematography, there's good performances, especially from Phoenix and Gaga, and there were interesting ideas, but overall they just weren't executed well. A lot of it was underutilized, especially with Harleen Quinzel. The music numbers just felt like filler, and overall it was just a pointless film that wasn't able to justify its existence, and it was only made because the first movie made $1 billion. And yeah, not to mention, oh, that ending just, I was pissed. If you're like really interested to check it out, then honestly I think this is a film you should just wait for streaming. Like, I don't really recommend this one that much, especially like if you loved that first movie, because this movie kind of spits in the face of it. Yeah, overall, this was disappointing, and sadly, it kind of did turn out to be pointless after all. So, with that, I am going to give Joker Folie Deux a 4 out of 10. So, with that, I'll see you guys next time, and bye.